Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463.
The Sphere Network. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today at advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Baptiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680.
What's up, good people? Welcome back to Technocrats. I am your host, Gary Lee, also known as G Hawkins. Of course, you can find me anywhere online, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. And I'm with the lovely Miss Ari McKinney. Ari, what's up?
Hello. Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Good morning. How you feeling this morning?
I'm good.
How's your technical life going?
You know, it's going. I can't complain. How about you?
You know, I tend to cringe when I have tech issues. I don't know if you feel that way. When I'm so engulfed or enveloped in technology day in and day out and always assisting or helping to create a technological environment for other people, when I have tech problems, I'm like, this some bull. I need a fix. I need a solution. I need it fast. I need it now. And I'm like, but it's me. I got to solve my own problem. I can't go ask somebody else to solve my tech problems. So I always have that conundrum. And I wonder, for those that are tuned in right now, for those that are listening to us in your car on Spotify, or you're watching this right now on YouTube, what do y'all do when y'all have tech issues? For the techies or the non-techies, shoot us an email. We want to know. Hit us up, Technocrats @thesphere.tv. But it's always a puzzling thing, I think, just to be around techies and watch when tech goes wrong. And you're like, uh-oh, what do I do?
Yeah, I know.
So
no, I feel you on that. I'm very impatient. I tend to not follow my own rules of, what I tell other people not to do. I see it in my son doing it too. Like, things don't load on his iPad and I see him like bang, 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 bang. And I'm like,
bang, bang,
no.
bang. I get that.
It's not helping.
I understand that completely. So, no, I feel you wholeheartedly.
Yes.
But we've got some great tech for you all who are tuned in right now. And I even got some requests from people like, where's the show at? When you bringing back Technocrats? Like, give us a chance. We're coming back. And, of course, we're in a building for you all now. We want to talk about tech, especially some big things that are occurring, simply because we are amongst the midst of one of the most powerful hurricanes to ever hit the upper northern part of Florida, of the great states of the United States. And we've got a particular article that talks about very good application here in our news section. So, hitting you with the news, let's dive in and talk about Zello. Ari, what's going on with Zello and the people over there with Hurricane Florence?
So, apparently Zello is a kind of two-way radio walkie-talkie app that becomes incredibly popular during times of natural disasters such as Hurricane Florence. It essentially allows you to tune into certain channels. Like, for instance, I think there's an illustration that shows there's a Hurricane Florence channel, so you can post pictures, leave messages, and as long as you've got some sort of network connection or Wi-Fi, even a 2G network connection, you are able to communicate back and forth. I suppose with the hopes of perhaps, again, maybe if you don't have Wi-Fi, with being able to post people that maybe need rescuing or updates about maybe certain areas of town that are flooded or streets that are closed. So it has gone from, I believe it was like the 238th most popular app in the App Store to like the 38th most popular app in the App Store in the wake of Florence. So,
and you know what's funny about this? When you brought this to the table, and thank you again. Obviously, I love the insight and what you're choosing, because I think the people need to know these things. I remember, Zello, when we had Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, and it became this big buzz on the news of this application that a lot of people who were flying in to assist with relief funds or relief efforts, they were utilizing Zello for communication. And I was like, well, what is Zello?
Right.
And now it is this big thing, as you mentioned, jumping way up there in the App Store popularity. And I think it's very clever how they've designed it. And you mentioned, you hit the head on the nail, it can even go all the way down to 2G service. And a lot of people don't even remember
exactly
what life was like with 2G service, let alone, for them to lose their LTE or LTE plus and be down to edge to 3G.
Yeah.
But being able to come all the way down to 2G and also work over wireless, that is very important, because lines do get stressed, and unfortunately towers do go down in the midst of storms. Now, keep in mind, for those that are tuned in right now, we're showing you the usage of the app and how you can have the channels and people you can converse with, which is wildly important. Remember, if this does require some service of some type. So if you lose 3G, 2G, LTE plus, VoIP
work
over LTE, whatever you got, if you lose Wi-Fi, this application will not function. So it's not magic.
No, it is not a foolproof
Come on.
app.
Yeah, this ain't Hogwarts.
No,
it's not just puffing, Hufflepuffs and it's working.
And I dare say it may take, to work as effectively as possible. I would think it would take a little bit of pre-planning, because, like, for instance, I could think of maybe setting up a channel for family where all of your family's on the same channel, so that you can send messages and photos to one another. In the case of or maybe even neighborhoods having their own channels. So I can see with some pre-planning how it could be really, really effective, even more effective than it already is. But it definitely is not foolproof, folks, so don't rely on it.
Yeah. Please have a disaster recovery plan. Please have something in place to ensure you've got all of your valuables, your possessions stored. And here's a tech tip. Get a USB drive. It may be a little late for some of you all, but have a USB drive. Have all of those documents that are important to you scanned in, and carry that USB drive with you, so that you can at least have some copy, if not the physical, if not the tangible, at least the intangible copy that's offline available. So if you do find yourself in a precarious situation, you've got a copy of your birth certificate, you've got a copy of your deed for your home, you've got a copy of your medical information, of your health records, a copy of your insurance. You've got a copy of things that you could need in a disaster situation. You want that.
Yes, and another little hack: if things are last minute and you need to get on out of there and you can't take too much, your dishwasher is a really good place to store things like your tablets, iPads, laptops, because it is pretty waterproof, and it's designed to be that way. It generally does not get wet if it floods.
That's
so
dope.
That will save a lot of
Look
your
at
stuff.
you with your little tech
there you
hacks.
go. Tech hack.
We gotta get you your own segment. Ari's
hack.
tech hacks.
There you go.
Oh,
There
I
you
like
go,
that.
folks.
I'm gonna think about
You
that.
heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm gonna really think about that, because you're right. It is sealed.
It is sealed
by design.
By design.
By design.
Yes.
It is waterproof.
Yes.
It is designed to keep water in, which means it keeps it out.
Absolutely.
So I'm here for that.
Yes.
That's your tech hat. Ari hit it with
There
your
you go.
first. She gave it to you first, people.
There you
So, before we move into this next segment, because I think this is going to bring in some very detailed conversation, let's hop into one of our great sponsors here on the network, and that's the Houston Housewives of Finance. So, did you know that only 4 states in the United States offers financial education? 33% or more than 77 millions of Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month. And 39% of adults say they don't have enough in savings. Don't become one of these statistics, folks. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or send them an email to info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask them how you can participate in a complimentary, yes, I said complimentary workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. And I know this to be true, folks. You better get that cha-ching in. I know this to be true because, hey, they take care of my kids. They're set, ready to go. And I ain't even got kids. They already taken care of. The kids are good.
There you
I ain't
go.
even got any. But contact Houston Housewives of Finance. Make sure you get your financial house in order. Now, let's pull up on a new segment called, or one of our other segments called Digital Trends.
Yes.
So in Digital Trends, we talk about the new hotness that's surrounding technology, and there's something scary
Very.
surrounding video
Y'all.
and AI and being able to replicate or mimic someone else's facial features, their dialect, the things they're saying, and even a little body language. Ari, what's going on over at Carnegie Mellon?
The future is here.
The future's here.
And it's scary.
Oh, my.
It's very scary.
Oh, my.
I was terrified. Okay, y'all. So here's the deal. So Carnegie Mellon has developed this software that essentially can allow you to take this video of me, let's say, that you're watching right now, and make me someone else. That's the simplest way I can break it down.
Wowzers.
So what they've done is they for instance took John Oliver and and turned him into Colbert, or the vice versa. You have to excuse me. I forget which way it was, but one was turned into the other.
Yeah.
And you
Clip
can,
from John
there you
Oliver
go.
made it
And
look like Stephen Colbert.
Yes, and you cannot
Wow.
tell which is the real deal and what is not. So essentially what it is it's 2 components to this software. And the first is that it reads mannerisms and just it essentially takes all the data from the original video. And then the second part of that would be that it takes that original content and finds it reads, the similarities in movement and motion, and then can take images and change the image but keep the motion. So they've used it for like flowers blooming. They can take video of one flower blooming and turn it to another. They've taken, as you can see, the video of Obama and turned it to Trump. So now if you've never seen this Obama video for the first time, you don't know. I mean, the implications of it are terrifying. I mean, I can just think of 80,000 different ways this can go wrong.
You know what? When I read this article, if I remember correctly, I remember John Oliver making mention of this because I watch his show.
Me too.
Shout out to
Great
John
show.
Oliver. Great show.
Great
Sunday
show.
nights, HBO.
Yes.
They're not promoting here.
No,
I just think
they're
it's a
just
great
awesome.
content. And funny as all get
Yes.
out, but great content. But I immediately thought of, and I couldn't think of this company last week, Cambridge Analytica.
Yes.
And the fake news.
The same
the
one
lies.
embroiled in all the
Exactly.
fake news.
Yeah, from
Election
2016
bot.
election. And so I think about everything that was put in place to skew voters and voters' perception. And this literally just takes it to a whole nother level.
It really does.
Like, how do you now say this is fake? And it's like, I saw you say it.
Right.
I saw you, not someone else say you said it, but I
Right.
saw you say it.
Like, not
And I'm
hearsay.
like, I didn't say it.
How
though.
do you know?
I
Yeah,
have
I
video.
mean, how do you combat that?
That's
like,
heavy.
how do you? I mean, I can see it from having huge international implications to even just on a personal level. I
Sure.
mean, we talk about, revenge porn, cyber. But I mean, there's so many. This just goes deep
Very
now.
deep.
I
Very
mean,
deep.
if I can take any video that I can find on the internet and put anyone else's face on it, I mean, are we now entering a world where, I mean, how do you even? I mean, I think I talk a lot about critical thinking. You
Sure.
have to have critical reading and thinking skills in this day and age, especially because you don't know what's real and what's fake, and it takes going that extra step. It's why so many people fall for the BS, because they don't take that extra step to do their own research. But even now with this, what can you really do to like validate that this is what I mean?
Or
Wow.
invalidate, right?
You're
So
right.
to say no, that's fake.
Right.
How do you know?
Right.
And
It's so scary.
this is the type, and this is, I think we're at that junction, or we're walking to that precipice, that place where we have to make a discernible decision to either allow this type of technology to move forward, or say that the risk is not worth the reward.
It way outweighs the benefits.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they weren't even trying to do this with this software
No.
when they designed it. So it even goes to beg a different question, which is, I guess not necessarily a question, but it's kind of Black Mirror-ish, right? Like,
Very Black
like
Mirror-ish.
it's kind of like we're getting to this point now where we're starting to see how the technology that's been developing over the past, few years, decades, can be now utilized for unintended purposes
Sure.
that aren't necessarily savory.
No, you're spot on, and I like the fact that you bring up Black Mirror. For those that are tuned in and unfamiliar with Black Mirror, if you've been under a black rock somewhere, Black Mirror is a show based around technology, and it shows you some of the fringe scapes of technology and how it can diminish societal norms or become a societal norm and wreak havoc upon said society, right? And there have been a lot of different great episodes where we've seen that we can say, okay, I can see myself today, and this looks like a viable future.
Oh, yes.
With some of these episodes of Black Mirror. So please check that out. I think that's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it started at the BBC for 2 seasons, came over to, and now they have American
Right,
writers
yes.
for the last 2 seasons, 3 and 4. Season 5, hopefully, it's coming soon.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward
I'm
to
there.
it. But
I'm here for it.
But this is straight Black Mirror.
It's very Black Mirror.
And and if I remember correctly, they were thinking more we can utilize this for autonomous vehicles and things like that.
Right.
But this could change everything when it comes to fact checking and the validity of all types of communications.
Yeah. I mean, you think about some of the issues that just Photoshop have caused, But now we're on that. I mean, this makes Photoshop look like
This is a whole nother, That
Like-
Photoshop is now 2D in comparison to
right?
this.
Like it's the print shop from like the 90s. Remember that? Remember print shop?
Oh, I do. Print shop deluxe, print shop gold. I had it all. I was rocking with it all.
Yeah, it makes Photoshop is now the new print shop. This is like it's insane. I mean,
it blows your mind.
It's scary. It's kind of like, okay, I mean, there's so many questions now. Like now it's like, okay, how can you control your image, your likeness
Sure.
on the internet now so that people can't take something that, and it's just wow.
Yeah, and the legal ramifications.
Yeah.
We haven't even talked about that. To imagine someone regaining you or whatever, I forgot what the term or the tool that they call it, but putting you in this position.
I think it was regained.
Generative adversarial networks to do some type of stuff. But
Yes.
you create these models, and imagine putting somebody in a illegal situation. Putting their face, their body in a situation that now says, no, you were
Right.
there. You're going to go to jail for something because we
Right.
have you on video, and it's not
to
really
mention-
even you.
And then as a black person, I sit
Come
there
on.
and think, what? I mean, it's what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
we get blamed for
we
stuff
could
already. as
already.
African-Americans. Come on.
Now it's like you can put my whole body there,
Yeah.
like physically place me
Yeah.
in a place that I
Crazy.
wasn't actually at. That's
This
scary.
this is something I hope they keep under wraps a little
Me
bit
too.
longer,
Me
and
too.
and only allow the right hands to hold it. But I want to know what you all think. For those that are tuned in right now, you're watching this via video inside of iTunes, or you're listening to this in your kitchen on Amazon Alexa. How do you feel about this situation? Are you okay with video being able to mimic someone that did not do something or say something, but they just did it and said it in front of your face, but it wasn't them? Like, how do you feel about that? Let us know. Hit us across social media at The Sphere TV. Use our coveted hashtag Technocrats. We want to know how you feel, or shoot us an email, technocrats@thesphere.tv. You can even leave a comment right on the website once this episode posts, and we will read your comment live on next week's show. So we want to know what you think. So, moving forward, let's switch gears a little bit and go to the new hotness.
That is the iPhone.
The new creme de la creme, because this is that time of year where things are always so exciting. I had forgotten about it, really, if I can be honest. Folks, we've got Mobility Weekly in your face. And we've got the first company to reach $1 trillion on their market cap. And that's none other than good old Apple. And they've got new iPhones for you, folks. Let's dive in. We've got the new iPhone XS, the XR, the XS Max. And we've got relative price points starting as low as $750 for these phones.
Is that all?
That's all.
Is that it?
Let's dive in. We're going to spend some good time talking about this. And Ari, I said I was going to pick on you because you came in with an iPhone.
I did.
So I definitely want to have this conversation with you specifically.
Yes.
But folks, we've got new iPhones, and just in generalities, right? iPhone XS and XX Max, these iPhones are pretty much identical when it comes to the guts. Just one has a bigger screen. And you can get it in all kind of flavors when it comes to storage space, starting at your $999 64 gig for your SX. Extra $1,000 gets you the XS Max, which is at 6.5 inches in comparison to the 5.58 inch. But still, you're talking $1,000 phone. To off gate at only 64 gigs of storage space, taking you all the way up to a whopping $1,449, almost $1,500 for your phone at 512 gigs of storage space.
Woo.
Are you kidding me, Apple?
No, they're not.
This comes with your OLED HDR screens. We're talking Super Retina displays, 458 PPI. We're talking multicolored gold, silver, space gray as usual, 12 megapixel telephoto lenses, 7 meg camera on the front side. You've got the A12 chip in it. It's doing the thing. Dual SIM card. One of the biggest things I love about this is the fact that they are IP68 rated. And I had a conversation with someone while I was out of town, actually, about iPhones. They're IP68, not 67. 68 meaning you can submerge this thing for up to 2 meters in depth at about 30 minutes or so. So this phone can be fully submerged, and it's all to the good. Keep that in mind. They've got some extra battery gains running iOS 12, but man, oh man, at a price point starting at $1,000 for the standard size and up to $1,500 for the half a terabyte in storage. Half gigabyte in storage.
Yeah.
Half a terabyte, in storage. I don't know. And I haven't talked about the small one yet. I'll come back to that. But just in general, how do you feel about this, Ari, as an iPhone user?
Yeah.
And as an iPhone, and that was, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's the Plus.
Yeah, it is.
That was the Plus.
It is.
So basically, they took the 8 Plus and turned it into the XS Max.
They did. So, how do I feel?
How do you feel about this?
I think I've had an iPhone since the 4.
Okay. That's interesting. I stopped at the 5.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I certainly am not one of those clamoring and will be, that are going to be standing in nobody's Apple store line waiting for my opportunity to go grab the new phone. I'm okay with the phone I have right now. I think it's ridiculous. I think the price point's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, that's like, I mean, you could put a down payment on a car for $1,500.
You could put a down payment on a house
Right.
for $1,500. You know what I'm saying? People doing FHAs out here at 3%. I mean, it's crazy.
Like, I mean, to me, that's just crazy. I mean, unless the phone is cooking breakfast for me.
Come on.
You know,
Acts of service. Come on.
Just all of that.
Talk my love language.
Thank you, right? Thank you. Okay. I don't think I'm doing it. I'm just not. I mean, I'm not seeing where it's doing so much more than my 8 Plus that I have to have it.
Yes.
My 8 Plus is perfectly fine. And as far as like the 3D touch and all that stuff, I'm not really reading great reviews about it. I'm not really feeling like they knocked it out of the park with that. I mean, there's really nothing that it has to offer to me that mine doesn't have, other than maybe the retina scan
It's supposed
situation.
to be a little bit faster.
A little bit faster.
Better.
Maybe
Yeah.
I think the front camera's got a better
maybe better aperture, 7 megapixel.
Megapixel, I believe, and it's got the ability on your portrait mode to control the amount of blur behind the images. I mean, minor things, but that's kind of how I feel about Apple. Really, the reason why I stick with my iPhone is because all my other stuff is Apple, and it's just so easy to have it talk to one another. Like, I've got Apple TV, and I've got the Apple TV, and I've got a MacBook, and I've got so it's like, there are, I think, better phones.
Yeah.
Sorry on my team Apple folks.
I understand.
They're gonna be tweeting me dirty words and probably because they're even, it's like, bam, your team Apple. But honestly, I think there are better phones. I just like the fact that I can do something on one device, pick it up from another, and I don't have to.
I agree. I think continuity, because that's what you're describing.
Right.
I think that's important, and I think that brings a ease of usability, and we're in a society here in America, and please, we've got people who watch this and tune into this all over the world, literally from Singapore to Russia. We got even people in Russia.
Shout out to our international
Alaska. We got people
listeners.
everywhere. There's more Android phones in the world than there are Apple phones. That's just a fact, numbers wise, right? Apple does a very, very good job of controlling their ecosystem and providing turnkey solutions. And so continuity, being able to pick up things and move forward, is very important. And I'm bringing it back to my original point, especially for those here in America, because we work so much.
Right.
And we're accustomed to continuing where we left off. And it makes good to move from an iPhone to the iPad over to a MacBook or MacBook Pro or iMac or whatever the case is. Yeah. And you've got the same apps, you've got the same information, and it's kosher.
It is.
I even like the fact that, and I use Apple products, right? I just got a pair of Beats headphones, the over-the-ear ones. It's my second pair. Somebody broke my first pair, but that's another story. And I was trying to pair my phone with it, and I turned it on, and I guess I put it into pair mode, and my iPad was like, I see Beats. Do you want me to connect? And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't want your connection, iPad. I want to talk to my Android phone. And my phone obviously did connect with it, but it's that
Apple's
type of thing
they're
that they put
just
in.
like, it's like, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, and they make it
so
easy. And that's important.
Yes.
And if they haven't learned anything from Steve Jobs, which is why he put one button on the iPhone from jump, he wanted to make the experience very easy, very seamless. Don't give people too many options, because when you do, they will choose no option.
Exactly.
Give them a couple, they're going to choose something.
Right.
Shout out to Steve Jobs and his vision, because it's still moving forward.
For sure.
And I'm here for this phone. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I mean, the thing is it's the quintessential Apple thing. Like, it's like, how long now that they come out the new one, how long will it take before mine starts acting janky?
And they addressed that last quarter or 2 quarters ago, and they said, you know what, we intentionally did,
of course,
throttle people because we didn't want their battery usage to go down because of new software, blah, 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 blah. But really, you just wanted more sales. We know it.
Of course,
this. And I think sales are important. Very, very bull. And if anything, that's like a growth hack or more of a marketing ploy by throttling people's phones. How do you market like that? That's so weird. But you know what? If you're looking to market, you can market right here at the Sphere.
You can.
Because this particular portion of the show is sponsored by us, folks. So, are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send us an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Yeah, gunshots, gunfire. So yes, I think that was how they decided to market their phones to their current subscriber base, by throttling, which is horrible. And you know what? They also did something interesting, which was they gave us a budget device.
Yes, they did.
Which ain't really budget
At all.
ish. So not only did they really the XS and the XS Max, they gave us the XR. I like the name a little bit. It's kind of cool. But it comes in at 6.1 inches, 321, so standard retina display, which was still a marketing term anyway. Right. Aluminum body with a glass back. Gave you some standard storage options from 64 gigs coming in all the way to 256 gigs, 12 megapixel single camera on the back, same A12 Bionic chip, a little bit better battery life, IP67. Keep in mind, the XS and the SX Max, 68. You can fully submerge them. You can go swimming with your phone. You can go snorkeling with it and take photos underwater. Don't drop it because then you're going to have to swim down to get it. And if it's over 2 meters, it might damage it. But this is 67, so it's just splash resistant, water resistant. You get it wet, wipe it off real fast. No 3D touch. This one does haptic feedback, more so just kind of like a trackpad. Same iOS 12, and it comes in a couple of extra colors. So this kind of reminds us of I mentioned iPhone 5 earlier. Right. This reminds me of the iPhone 5C when they hit you with all the different colors. So I think they're playing this at the budget, and
it's
of course,
the same phone.
You still got the 7 and the 8 available for $449 and $599, but nobody's buying that.
I feel like though the XR is just the 8 Plus.
I would say that. Yeah, the 8 Plus.
I mean,
give me a full screen.
It's literally their cheaper option. Their cheapest option is their most expensive last model option.
Yes, yes, indeed.
So let's call that what it is, folks. It's the 8 Plus in colors. Essentially.
And I think that's going to open up some opportunity for sales. I think there are a lot of people that are going to flock to the 749, especially people who didn't move to the iPhone X originally. Right. And it's like, okay, I can get a better phone than my 8 or my 7, and I can get the full screen experience, even though I don't have some of the additional bells and perks that are at another $250.
Right. So yeah, I'm the type of person that's like, it's either all or nothing for me when it comes to the iPhone. Like either I'm getting that $1,400 bad boy, or like, I mean, I know I don't really need that much memory though. I don't need that much memory, but I'm either getting like that one, or I'm getting, because to me it's just, there's always so much overlap between the lower end of the new phones and the higher end of the old phones that it doesn't really make sense for me. Like I didn't get the X because I was just like, I don't really see a need, and I kind of feel the same way. Like if I don't jump to the what is it, the SX Max, then there's no point. I might as well stay with what I have.
I understand that. Yeah. Plus you're used to that footprint size anyway. Yeah. So you kind of have to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go smaller.
And who's gonna go 64 gigs though?
No.
Like who does that today?
No one.
Like so I don't understand why they just won't make the base 128.
Right.
But I understand it from a marketing perspective.
Yes.
Because people can say, I can
sticker
I'm
shock.
Good 128. Well, what I'm saying is you give us 64 at $1,099, right, for the XS Max. Right. You give us 256. So you go from 64, you quadruple it.
Yeah, that's true.
To 256 for another $150.
Yeah, you might as well pay that extra $150 and get
you see what I'm saying? When
memory.
you could have given us 128
right.
at the same $1,099,
right.
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
it's probably only costing you pennies more
right.
to go from 64 gigs internally to 128 gigs. but you don't want to offer it because you're going to cannibalize your 256 sales.
Right.
When you could do it for your consumer base, because nobody wants 64 gigs.
No,
It's
they
not
don't.
enough storage.
It's not anymore. People do too much on their phones now for that.
We're downloading video
Right?
podcasts and stuff.
I'll eat through that in 2 seconds.
Talk about it.
Right?
Talk about it. So, those are the phones, folks.
Phones.
Apple. They got us with new phones, but they
got
also
Hitting us with the watch.
they gave us a little more joy. Little more joy. They came with the new redesign, even though it's pretty similar, but new redesign, quote unquote, Apple Watch Series 4. Let's dive into it. And it's a beauty.
It is pretty.
It is. And you know what? Apple sells more smartphone watches than any other smartphone watch company. So even though it's not their biggest, market
It's not
space.
their bread and butter.
Yeah, it's not their bread and butter, but this is a beautiful
It really
device.
is.
And I love how on the website, as we scroll down, you get some of the motion stuff that they put in to gotta give you what it feels like. And one of the biggest things you'll notice for those that are watching this right now, you'll notice is the size. This watch, they've actually increased the sizing. Instead of your standard 38 millimeter and 40 millimeter, they increased it up to, and I believe it's now 40 millimeters, going all the way up to 46 millimeters.
Yeah, wow.
So, and we're talking 2 millimeter difference, but that's a big difference on your wrist.
It really is.
You see 2 millimeters on your wrist.
And I have tiny wrists, but I'm a big.
You're like big
I'm a
faces, big watch
face.
faces?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that works for me.
And I'm loving. I love the way that they look. I think the aesthetics is
I feel
gorgeous.
like the colors are more vibrant.
I agree. The crown's a little bit different. It's got some haptic feedback coming out of the
Yeah.
crown. And they talk about all the different sensors, which one of the biggest thing is the fact that this new Apple Watch has a ECG sensor
Yes.
built into it, electrocardiogram.
Yes.
And that's something you're going to have want to have a conversation with your doctor about, because this is going to monitor your heart rate in a way that I think will, how shall I say, I think this is going to bring about some additional use in a medical space, which is something along with their health kit that Apple's always wanted to get into heavily anyway.
Yes, they have.
And if you can make this the de facto standard in health, now you're tapping the market in a totally different manner and way. So I'm here for what they're doing, being proactive pickups of your health when you're utilizing the watch. So it'll automatically jump into modes that it needs to be in. And of course, you're getting all the flavors for the ladies, the men. You're getting the Hermes, you're getting a sports series, you're getting everything you need from this watch.
Yes, they hit us with the Hermes. My
and
birthday's coming up. If anyone wants to,
That's how we're talking.
that's how we're talking. I'll take an Hermes
You
watch.
talking right over there, Lord.
No, I'm loving it. I like the big bezel, the big face. I'm liking it. I had the very first iWatch, or
Whatever you want to call
whatever
it.
you want to call it. Apple Watch. I took it back.
Really?
Hated it.
Really? Why?
It was so useless to me. It made no sense to me. I mean, it was like I was frustrated by the fact that I could only get, like, it was like, okay, you can see a little bit of your text, but you can't answer it. It was pretty much like just another notification to go pick up my phone and do what I needed to do on my phone. And it just, to me, wasn't quite developed enough to do what I needed to do. I felt like a Fitbit could do what I needed to do for that. And there wasn't enough functionality outside of the health stuff, health tracking stuff, for me to justify it. And I was so frustrated. I took it back. I was like, I don't want this. So I have not had one since the first one. So with these new changes might encourage me to go and
may give you a little bit of backing.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind price points. These start at $399 for the standard version. If you want cellular service
Half
on
of
your
a phone.
watch, come on, really, real rap. This is half a phone.
Yeah.
If you want the cellular service, it's at $499. So $500 for the LTE model of this device that will be available on September 14th and the 21st, respectively. And then, of course, when you go in and change bands, or you go to the Hermes, or you go to the Sport, pricing does change on these watches. So I like what they're doing. Speakers are
love it.
50% louder, larger screen. We mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
S4 chip. I think this is going to be a great improvement. I wish, if I could be honest with you, I wish that I could have an Apple Watch pair with my Android phone. I would go buy an Apple Watch because I think that what the smoothness of their interface, I think still outdoes Android Wear OS. It outdoes anything I've seen created by Samsung. The hardware, I think, is prettier, nicer, more polished than Huawei's. I'm wearing a Huawei Watch 2 right now. Than what I've seen Fossil do Fossil do for Android. I have not seen a better smartwatch, I believe, than the Apple Watch. And I would be interested in a Series 4 if Apple opens this up. I don't know if they ever will, though.
I don't know. You are not the first person that I've heard say that that is the one Apple product that non-Apple users would like to have. I mean, I know that a lot of them do. If it could talk to your phones, that would be all. I'm sure they would see sales skyrocket because I know there are a lot. But you know how Apple is.
I do.
They're
and that's by design.
Yeah,
and it makes sense.
Absolutely.
It makes sense.
Absolutely.
But,
they don't want to invite the other kids to the party.
And we would smile so much. We would have big smiles. All the kids coming to the yard for your milkshake, Apple.
No.
Coming to the yard, big smiles. Speaking of big smiles, this particular portion of our show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, their vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We're committed to the finest possible oral care and overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Throughout their commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmospheres, they strive to make their patients feel that they're part of their family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable, but Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Chandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. And if you say the Sphere, you will receive 10% off your dental treatment, which could be a lot of money. If you've got $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of work and you say the Sphere and you get $300, $400, $500 off that bill, come on, folks. It makes sense.
No brainer.
Mention the Sphere at Elite Dental Wellness. With the chime on it. With the chime on it. But Ari, this has been a action-packed week of technology.
Yes.
I'm excited to see what happens starting today. The Apple Watch 4 is available.
Yes.
And the phones are coming up available. I forgot when the release date on the phones are. I just saw the prices, and that shut me all the way.
The 21st, I believe.
That shut me all the way down. I was like, I don't know how y'all selling these,
mine's
man.
fine. Mine's fine. I'll keep the 8 Plus for now.
Exactly.
We're good.
They're available next week, 9/21 for those phones. So these next couple of
Let
weeks
us know
are
what you think.
really big. The less expensive version isn't available until late October 26th. Pre-orders start October 19th. So get your pre-orders in, do your upgrades, sell your Girl Scout cookies, whatever you need to do to get your money right, because it's crazy out here. I'm waiting on a new iPad, actually. So that's what I'm waiting on, because that's something I do. I still have iPad 2 at the crib, and I use it when I go on flights. It still works fine. I read my Kindle stuff on it. I do a couple of apps. That's it. I'm so happy with my iPad 2, folks, that I'm still using, because they make great tablets. I have yet to found a tablet that's better. I was just waiting on the full screen experience from a tablet, which I don't know how they're going to do the fingerprint like detection, and to know that I'm not trying to touch the screen, I'm just holding it. So when they tighten the bezels up, that's really what I'm waiting on the iPad Pro.
Got it.
But that's my next purchase. And of course, and I even looked into, can I use the Apple Watch just with the iPad? It's like I'm even willing to do that.
You're trying to find any kind of way to get that Apple Watch.
I can make it work. But no dice. But what you got coming up this week? What you doing? What's popping? Anything good? Anything techy?
Not too much tech wise this week. I don't think. I say that now, but
But you never know.
You never know.
Never know what you're tinkling in.
Who knows?
Tinkling with.
I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see. I'm kind of in the market for a new iPad too for the little one because he's got the mini and it's not working for him anymore.
well.
So he's looking for a new one. So I'm like, okay, I guess we'll
And our latest
start.
one's like $329.
I know
so
it's not bad.
It's not bad
It's
at all.
not
I was
bad.
like, wow, y'all just really bringing the
As long
price
as I get
down.
like an OtterBox like ballistic level
You need all that.
case because he's 4.
Oh my God, you need it all.
So
You need that all. Well, let the good people know where they can reach you at, my dear. If they've got any tech questions, anything they want to ask you.
yes, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Dish with Ari.
There it is.
Yes.
Dish with Ari.
Hit me up.
Hit her
Let
up,
me know
folks.
what you might want to hear us talk about.
Good deal. And of course, if you need to reach me anywhere online, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, @GHawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. If you got any questions about what we do here at the show, shoot us an email, technocrats@thesphere.tv, or you can hit us across social media @thesphere.tv. Use our coveted hashtag Technocrats, and we will definitely get back with you. This has been another great episode of Technology. We will see you all next time.
Have a good
Take
one.
care.
Bye-bye.